Oh, right there. Whoa. Alright, so something I'm doing really quick right here, I realized that, let's redynamesh it. Cool, alright, that filled the hole. You know, something I've always wanted to try and get into and control a bit better was like my divots and like my actual separation of the materials. So like let's say again I'm working with multiple wooden planks, which in this case I am. Oh my god, what is going on with that? That's really odd. Oh man. Oh boy. Hold on. Let me fix this shit. I'm gonna delete this. Okay. Alright, yeah. So I realize that when it comes time to baking that stuff, it just doesn't work sometimes. Like a lot of people online can actually just paint in these grooves and they're like, okay, that's it. But for me, like if I'm trying to actually make the material read as a separate mesh, like two separate pieces, like clamped together, or they're welded together, they're nailed together, whatever it may be, I find it easier to control it by just separating them all together, and then just like putting them back together, and then that way they're actually separate meshes. A lot of hard surface tutorial stuff out there. Shout out to Elemensa, great tutor. A lot of hard surface stuff out there will actually do it that way too. They'll break out their meshes and they'll just keep them separate, and that's a great way to work as well. So that's what I'm going for here. I'm cleaning up these edges, redynameshing it. Again, just using Trim Dynamic still. I haven't even touched any of their brushes I'm talking about, because Trim Dynamic is like my baby. It's my favorite brush. And that's basically how I go to town on most things. And yeah, it may look a bit rough and stuff, but that's what I like. I like how rough this looks, and that's my thing. That's my style. So yeah, so I like this. And another reason why I did it is now I can control what the heck I'm doing with my wood. So now if I really wanted to come in here and like do some like crazy stuff like this, I can actually do it. But my biggest issue is it's not reading as wood. So yeah, I'll probably shut up and keep sculpting now. So cool. Alright, you're using the pinch again. Just wanting to actually break up that wood vein. You don't just want to like grab your crack brush and go, doesn't not gonna look good. So I'm gonna try and like actually do that. I'm gonna actually put a little bow in here. Let's do that. Oh, would not. I don't really like the way that looks, but whatever. Oh, not whatever. I'm gonna get rid of it. Let's try this again. Alright, let's grab Slash. This is a really good one right here. When used properly, I think. And in this case, I think this is properly. It's a nice little edge wear right here. Just to kind of help pull out the edges a little bit sometimes. You want to try and break up. Ooh. You don't want to go too crazy on your bevels because it's going to probably be on a hard edge, unless you're beveling your low poly to help read that. And you know, this might be a bit too extreme, but we'll figure that out in the first bakes. I'm gonna have to go back and redo some stuff, but that's reading a bit better. So the splintering will look neat if we can do it a few times. Maybe like break it up just a little bit more right here, right? Grab a longer one, I like to do this sometimes too, and connect them. I think there's like a nail even in here. Yeah, look at that. Ain't that cool? I wonder if you polygroup them. Yeah, whatever. But you see what I'm saying about this? Like the polish washing it out, or even Dynamesh might wash it out because not high res enough. This may look nice here, but the reality is when you're baking something, you need the details to come through. So I'm gonna probably hit this again one more time. Do this again, and to me, I think my biggest like mental issue is that I was always afraid I was doing it wrong or like I was approaching it wrong. But like you guys, if you gotta just go over something, do it. Or if you have to try something again, it ain't stupid if it's producing good results. That's not producing good results. So let's do it again. Let's get a crack brush in here. Very lightly go over it. You know what? That's cool. I turn off polish. Ew. Yeah, you see now it's like not good. So smooth that a bit. See, what's going to be a really clever thing on my part though is I'm just going to, since I'm mirroring it, I know literally 2 seconds ago I said, hey, you guys at the end of your wood, don't do this, right? Well, that's kind of what I have to do if I'm mirroring it because I don't want to just do a radical angle. But what's neat is I'm talking about putting a metal band over this whole thing. So like check that out. I can kind of make things like flow into each other and have some other bands kind of coming out. As long as it looks stupid now, but I want to get that metal band over, it's just gonna hide the issue. So like, definitely try and do some clever tricks to hide like some mirroring if you need to. Pays off in the end. So that's reading his wood a bit better. Oh yeah, hey. It's always wholesome too, because like you could be doing something you hate it. You know, obviously I'm hating this whole thing, the whole process. I'm not really vocalizing it, but I'm like, damn, this sucks. It's not even looking like wood. And then you just get like an aha moment where you're like, oh, thank God. Like it's a sigh of relief, you know. And I just had one of those. So like, don't be afraid to like acknowledge that, and like all of artists are struggling with this stuff. So I still stumble upon my best stuff on accident, and this is one of those times again. So like that's the one I'm looking for. It looks really frayed. It looks very splintered. Even get one like right run across here. Don't want to go overboard, but man, good example. So this is a really thin one, right? But it's not going to read unless you really drag it out, because my Dynamesh resolution is pretty low. So I might actually crank up the resolution a bit more. Touch the mesh. Yeah, there we go. Probably not going to do a whole lot, and it didn't. But yeah, that looks stupid. Okay, so let's leave it like that. God bless localized history, because man, that'd be annoying. And I'm just kind of playing around with a lot of this stuff. I don't want to do it like totally perpendicular. It's gonna look a bit goofy, but because you want it to kind of flow. But I also don't want to do like all these like really round bubbly shapes. So I'm trying to maybe make my my circles a bit more oval like, because I think it kind of implies. Sorry, I live next to a huge main road, and I always hear a ton of the sirens that run by. There we go. Maybe we just kind of have that break. And, ooh, could put a little. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this will help get some. Yeah. Look at those chunky things. Nice. Looking good. Redo them. Because again, don't be afraid to work those out. And man, that is just getting washed out. I'm going to drop my softness a little bit. Let's see what that does. Dude, it's still washing it out, huh? Don't want to go too crazy on it. But. Oh, hey, so look at that. Happy accidents again. Good flow for my wood. So I'll try to drive all the wood in a little bit. Again, I'm mirroring this, so it's going to be okay. And I'm going to be covering it with a band. Oh, let's get some pinches in. Okay. Alright, it's going to be hard to visualize, so I'm actually going to do unlock, go to unmask center and relock it. Bring it over, and then I'm going to just flip it. Can I actually just scale inverse? No, can't do that. So we're gonna flip it. Doesn't matter. Bring it over here. Shove that. That's my metal. So we're gonna talk about metal stuff. Q to draw. Again, smashed. Look at that. Just totally destroyed it. Let's bring it back to like. The smaller the object, the more dynamesh you're gonna want to. By the way. Okay, so first things first. Let's make room for this boy. I got a big old hole right there. So, this first thing, I like to use deformation. I'm gonna, okay, actually, hold on. My computer just like hates it when I run deformations, so I'm going to actually do save, because it crashes sometimes. Or not, it crashes, the ZBrush crashes. Oop. There we go. Inflate. Just a little bit. Oh god, polish. Run that again. Hey, good note. Your sharp and soften change every time you go from mesh to mesh. So let's do like 5 and 5 again. Ah, man, it's so clean looking. Well, that's a bummer. It's like totally covering that up. Let's just make it bigger then. I kind of feel like this would be bigger anyway. I'm thinking right now. So what's going through my head right now is like you want to have design intent, and it's like, okay, so what went into the process of making this thing, right? So do they just is it welded? Do they shove a rod through another like little metal piece? I definitely need to go in here and kind of help inset, make it feel like this is inset, right? So I'll have to play around with that a little bit, because this just looks like it's just sitting on top. I want to try and make it seem like it's clamping the wood. I like the term clamp because it's like it almost kind of like eats, like the wood almost eats it a little bit. You know, wood's a bit pliable depending on what type of wood you got. So, but you know what? Maybe before I make the whole, let's back it up and check this out. Yeah, you know, I like how big that is. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, but instead, I'm going to get rid of the hole because I don't really know what's going on with it right now. So let's unsolo that, redrag it out, make that a bit bigger. And let's take this dude. Oh, stylized tip number whatever. I always kind of like put some flares on it, like some bevels. You'll notice how this isn't like just perfectly, I'm sorry, like it's not perfectly like straight out. It actually bows in a little bit. It just kind of helps with your reads a bit more. I know that comes a lot from people who bake like depth information and normals into textures. I'm not baking this. This is going to be an actual piece, but I you know what? I'm not gonna sit here and explain why I think I know that looks better. I find it more appealing. That seems to be like one of the essences of stylized pieces, and that's what I'm gonna do. The taper for the texture method is because you want to be able to give that illusion of depth without actually having a 3D piece of geometry on there. So we're just gonna continue that throughout here. Gonna polish over it. Oh, actually, let's grab easy metal. How easy is it? Oh, that is really easy. I forgot I bought this. I'm gonna turn off lazy mouse because I kind of hate lazy mouse sometimes. So that looks like dog poop. Let's turn off backface masking. Subtlety, friends, subtlety. This is just to kind of add some info for me too. I'm definitely gonna go ahead and add some chips and dents into this and whatnot. You don't want to go too crazy on this. Again, you want to think about what went into this and how it's being affected by the world and whatnot. And I can sit here and talk about it for days, but it's a challenge. It really is. I'm not going to sit here and be like, man, like, yeah, just make it look like it fits in. Like, it's tough. It's really hard to get something to fit into the thing. But that looks cool. That looks like hammered metal to me. It looks a bit rusted. Or it gives me the illusion of rust. And I can always add some rust colors in. And what's nice about stylized work is you have a bit of a playground to like mess around with things like implied detail. And yeah, okay, sure, I'm not going in there and I'm not adding a ton of like this crazy stuff. Although this looks dope. I'm gonna do that. Happy accidents. I'm not going in here and adding all this like crazy detail because you want to keep it pretty simplified anyway. And it doesn't have to all be in the normal map. It can still be in the diffuse channel. And again, this is just my style in the game is the normal map and diffuse look, but a lot of people just like to do just hand painted, or maybe you're going for the full gamut, like you're going for the stylized PBR with the roughness and metallic and all that jazz. And you know, there's a ton of ways you can do it, but because I'm hand painting, I have a lot of leeway with this. So I'm happy. I really like the way that looks. I think that's cool, and I hope you guys think so too. Sorry, let's see what. Let's grab the cracks here. This is kind of what I mean by clamping it. Just something really subtle, but I like to do that because it looks like there's design intent now. It looks like it was recessed into it, and so this looks cool right off the bat, I think. But let's take it a step further. Let's go ahead and pinch it. We're gonna make our pinch pretty big. We're gonna kind of suck in that detail. And then we're also gonna try and make those veins look like they belong. I feel like those would be a bit more pronounced where that's at. Maybe you can get one of these guys in here. Actually, let's just get that off to begin with. No, let's line that up a bit more. Yeah. Run the. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, oop, forgot one little part here. All right, so that's looking good. Maybe just another one. And if you want to take it one more step further, like maybe sometimes you can like see the like right around this edge area. Maybe at the way that the wood's running up, you kind of see it like bloop, like kind of like flick up and have a bit of a flare to it. So maybe even go in and add an edge around here. Like, whoa, let's do that. Let's do that. I'm already digging the sound of that. So let's do edge accents. I really don't like the lazy mouse on this. So they have a softer one and a sharper one. I'm gonna grab the sharper one. Also, pro tip, if you don't want to buy this, even though it's got a nice edge accent, you grab your orb cracks and flip it. And then when you're done, hit it with a quick, actually one of the few times I will use a soften is I'll use an orb like this, hit the soften on it, and you're done. And actually, I'm gonna do that right now because I can just keep it on there because it makes it convenient to drive those back into there. So let's do that. Another one Fanny Vergne does, because again, you don't need brushes to get a nice stylized result, even though it totally helps a lot. She does the damn standard right here and just hits Alt to mirror it, or you can also hit like Z add or whatever, and she does it that way. I think that's nice at times, and again with the polish, it definitely shines through, because I think it likes to take it and you see that it makes it like nice and pinched. But you know that again, that's up to you guys. Damn Center's still nice to kind of help drive in some of the dents, but I just use it as an accenter than mainly anything else. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I already had that. So it's getting a bit lumpy, and you know what? Like, I don't want to go overboard with this because it's looking good anyway, how it is. Drive back the soft a bit more. Man, that's so frustrating at times. So at this point, you can either crank up resolution to try and keep, but then this shit happens. So that's why I keep my polish on, honestly. You just can't mess with it too much because then it starts getting like these weird results, and I don't really know what's up with that. So you kind of pigeonhole yourself in a way, or you get stuck doing one particular. You kind of get stuck with your settings almost, so to speak, but whatever. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell me how to fix that. I'm just trying to learn like the rest of you guys, so. Okay, so that's looking okay, I guess. Again, do the pinch, grab it in here. This one's not as noticeable this time, I'm starting to see. Damn, that's looking cool. Okay. Alright, so you know what? I think I have like 55 minutes of a sculptor and I'm only done with this front wheel and stuff. Because I'm talking it through in a bit. But I'm also a bit slower of a worker anyway. So I think I'm actually going to genuinely cut it off here. I might just mute out the sections I said I wasn't going to talk. I might just keep it at real time. And then from here, with everything that I've been doing, because actually this whole workflow you've seen, I think I gave a really, really nice like breakdown of the brushes I was using. I might do a quick speed sculpt to get the rest banged out, and then you guys can just kind of see that broken down into like a 30, maybe 45-minute video. Maybe I'll do a talk over it, I don't know, or maybe I'll just do a post-mortem on it or just some checkpoints, I don't know. But either way, you have some good footage now, and you kind of get a good glimpse of what my process is. Oh, and I definitely need to go in and add the metal clamp right here, so I'll be doing that as well. Cool, all right, well, thanks for listening. I guess we'll call this part 2 of whatever, and I mean the third part will be an actual speed sculpt or just another part of the sculpt, and I'm hoping episode 4 or part 4 will just be me bringing it back into ZBrush, or back into Maya, or maybe even doing some decimation and doing a bit better of a low poly to match it. Then we'll be taking it into Substance, talking about the whole texturing process, and man, I'm getting so excited. So I will see you guys in the next one. So take it easy.